All right, so y'all know that I rarely do like Monday Night Raw post game audios because there's just no point in doing them every week. And the last time that I did one, ironically enough, weird timing, was the night when Roman Reigns, this is way back like months ago, announced that he had leukemia. And then Dean Ambrose turned, which was really the last time that I can tell you that Monday Night Raw ended with a huge, shocking event. Well, tonight was like the same thing, kind of, except in the reverse. And we're going to talk more about Roman Reigns' leukemia going into remission later on in this video. But I want to discuss the return of Dave Bautista, Drax the Destroyer, the star of Guardians of the Galaxy 1, 2, Avengers, Infinity War, and the upcoming Avengers Endgame. He's back in WWE. We had heard rumors that him and Triple H were, well, okay. Let me first tell you what happened, okay? For those who may not have seen it. If you have missed Raw, you missed a pretty newsworthy show because a lot of stuff happened. Ronda Rousey storyline quick. She wanted Becky to, join the three-way, or to join the matchmaking at three-way WrestleMania. And they had the Ric Flair 70th birthday party, which ended up being an angle for Batista to come back. And then Becky Lynch got arrested, which was typical like Steve Austin Attitude Era type stuff, which was cool. But it was a newsworthy show, but the big story, besides Roman Reigns' leukemia going into remission is great news, and we're going to get to that here in a minute. But first, I want to talk about Batista. So they did an angle where they had the 70th birthday party for Ric Flair. They had Sting, Ricky Steamboat, Shawn Michaels, Triple H was there, all of Ric Flair's legendary opponents, and they cut to the back. Well, first they play Flair's music. He doesn't come out. Then they cut to the back, and they show some guy who's like dragging Ric Flair's body across the ground. And I'm like, was that Batista? And it turns out that it was Batista, who's a 55-year-old man with a nose ring. I thought that was kind of weird, but he's there and he says, "Hunter, do I have your attention now?" or something like that, and pretty much lays out Ric Flair in the back on his 70th birthday for nuclear heat here, because Ric Flair is so beloved that that's the best way to get heat. Obviously, in WWE's mind, bringing back Batista would get him cheered because he is a fan favorite. He is a guy who many people grew up watching, in the post-Attitude Era, the 2005, I guess you can call it the Ruthless Aggression, sort of John Cena, Batista era, the post-Attitude Era time period. And he was a big star for many years, and now, of course, he is a star in the MCU. He's Drax the Destroyer. So he lays out Ric Flair, and we had heard rumors for a while that they were going to do Batista and Triple H at WrestleMania. Now, the story being that Batista wanted to have one more run, one more big match, one more big run in WWE before he officially called it a career and actually retired, and he wanted to wrestle Triple H. Now, obviously, you would think that when it comes to Batista and Triple H, right? We'll talk about the history of that here in a minute, but him and Triple H are very close in real life, and you would think that Batista would be the babyface and Triple H would be the heel, but no. This was a very shocking thing they did, because instead, Batista's going to be the villain, the heel, laying out Ric Flair, saying, did I get your attention? Which I'm guessing the storyline's going to be, and I don't know this for certain, that he's angry that he didn't get invited to the birthday party. I guess. I'm not really sure, but it's going to be interesting because I had thought that they were going to do Batista and Triple H at WrestleMania next year, which is going to be in Tampa, my hometown. I had thought they were going to do it there because, it's Batista lives here as well. I used to live near Batista. I actually lived a block away from Batista at one time. I moved since then, but I have lived near Batista. Last year, and then I moved. Well, anyways, Batista is going to be wrestling Triple H at WrestleMania. Now, what I think is interesting is, this WrestleMania was thought of to be kind of a cursed show because Triple H tore his shoulder out in the Crown Jewel show and was supposed to be out of WrestleMania. And then Roman Reigns, of course, got the leukemia. And then they were going to do John Cena and Lars Sullivan, but Lars Sullivan had an anxiety attack or something. That angle was dropped. And they're still going to have John Cena do something. We don't know what. Maybe they'll still do the Lars Sullivan match, but he'll be there. And it's interesting because they're going to do it this year. And I think that WrestleMania is looking a lot more interesting now. So Batista returned to Monday Night Raw, laid out Triple H. Triple H, of course, runs to the back Everybody's scared because Ric Flair got beat up and he's a 70-year-old man. And the whole story, of course, being that cowardly Batista wants to get Triple H's attention. Now, obviously, they're going to do the match at WrestleMania. Most of you watching this should understand that about wrestling. And obviously, Triple H is probably going to win because he's the babyface. Batista's the heel. Ric Flair's so beloved. Triple H has never beaten Batista, interestingly enough. They had their big WrestleMania main event for WrestleMania 21 in 2005, and one of the best storylines WWE did that year, where Batista was in Evolution, did the thumbs up, then did the thumbs down, but turned on Triple H and went after the World Heavyweight title. Then they had a rematch at Backlash, and then they had another match at the Hell in a Cell at Vengeance 2005. And that was the trilogy of Batista Triple H matches, and Batista won all three. Now, it's kind of funny because, ironically, Batista won that feud, and then when Triple H came back after that feud on television on Raw, he turned on Ric Flair. So poor Ric Flair's been beaten up by all his friends, it seems, which is kind of ironic because how many times did he beat up Sting, in their career in the past? But I, for one, was very excited to see Batista back. I am looking forward to Triple H and Batista at WrestleMania. I really am. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it. I think Triple H is going to win, and I know some people are going to be like, oh, great, he has to get his win back. But, I mean, he is the babyface, Batista will be the heel, which is interesting because, again, Triple H is portrayed as a villain and as a good guy depending on what week and what show. On NXT, he's like this very beloved guy. Over on Raw, he's been a heel for a while. And now I'm guessing he's going to be a babyface because you're not going to be able to boo Triple H against Batista, even though I think that the New York crowd is going to cheer Batista because he is a guy who represents the past. And wrestlers of the past always get love from the WWE fans and all the wrestling fans. It's just how it is. But it is probably going to be Batista's last match, even though I can't say that because wrestlers retire a million times sometimes. And Batista, he could come back and do more matches, but the story was that he wanted to do one more match and with Triple H and call it quits because that is his boy. So, nonetheless, that's going to happen. Now, the other good news is Roman Reigns opens the show and says that his leukemia is in remission. That is great, great news. As somebody who has lost family members and loved ones due to cancer, I was very happy to hear that. And then when it first happened, I made the video and I said, Roman will be okay, I hope, because he does have money. And when you have money, you can get good doctors. And, WWE will look out for him. He'll look out for himself. The Samoan family, the Anoa'i family, is a really, the Rock's family, essentially. Yokozuna, the Samoans, the legendary lineage of wrestlers. And they've, they're been in the business for 5, 6, I think it's like 5 generations, I want to say. Something like that. So I knew he'd have the best doctors. And having him come out and say that his leukemia is in remission, getting at that reaction from the crowd, I think was fantastic. I think it was, it made me feel very emotional because, what this guy's been through, it's, you can boo Roman Reigns because of his push, but you can't deny the guy worked hard. He's had great matches. He has. I mean, you can't deny it in the past. Not all his matches are great, but he has had great matches, and, he's back. And he's probably going to work WrestleMania. Another guy who we thought was out is going to work WrestleMania. Now, what match will he be in? Well, they teased a match with Baron Corbin. I don't think they're going to do that, but based on the way that the storylines are progressing, the way the feuds are, is you've got Bobby Lashley, who's working with Corbin and Drew McIntyre, that trio, and of course, Leo Rush is with them. And the babyface side is Finn Balor, Braun Strowman, and Roman Reigns. So it could be a 6-man tag. Probably not, though. I could see it being Roman and Strowman in a tag team match against Baron Corbin and Drew McIntyre. They could do that. Also, Kurt Angle was involved in that feud as well, so they could do something with him as well. I'm not really sure what they're going to do there, but I think that Roman Reigns will definitely wrestle Baron Corbin in one way or another. Probably not a singles match. I don't think that Baron Corbin's a good opponent for him. Now, if they do Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre, that's a pretty good match, but I also feel that it's also maybe too soon to do it for WrestleMania, but then again, who knows? That could work. Then they can do Strowman and one-on-one with Corbin or whatever. I think it'll be a tag match, but Roman coming back is good news, not just because he should be on WrestleMania and he's going to, work the show and make the show a bigger deal, but also because he's healthy, and that's a good thing. So, and what remains to be seen is what they're going to do with John Cena. We don't know if John Cena is going to, who he's going to wrestle. If it'll be Lars Sullivan. Daniel Bryan is a rumor, even though I'm pretty sure they're going to go with Kevin Owens, even though I hope they go with John Cena, because I think Cena and Bryan is a great feud, even though it would be more interesting if Nikki Bella was still with John Cena, because then you'd have, Daniel Bryan and Brie with, his wife, and then Nikki and Cena, but they're not together anymore, so they can't really do that. That would be a good match. But either way, they did a lot of good stuff this week as far as building up WrestleMania, a lot of big angles. Roman is back, Batista's back, and it looks to be a fun time going into New York. I will not be at the show this year, unfortunately. I will watch it from home because I'm going to a convention the week before, and then I'm hosting a convention the week after. So I don't want to have to fly 6 times in 3 weeks. Unlike other people, I don't like flying. I'm not as durable as some of these wrestlers are, so I don't want to be on a plane 6 times in 3 weeks. It'll kill me. You know what I mean? It'll make me very tired. But I'm not going this year, but I will go next year. It's in my hometown. Next year, WrestleMania 36 here in Florida. And I could drive to Raymond James Stadium, which is pretty freaking cool. Because, yeah, that's pretty awesome. So, anyways, that is it for this video. What do you think about Batista's return? Big star now, really big star after the Guardians of the Galaxy movies and how big he's gotten there. He'll definitely put a lot of eyeballs on WrestleMania, along with Ronda Rousey, big mainstream star, along with, of course, Becky's really over as well in the wrestling bubble, and then you've got Brock Lesnar too. So you've got a lot of star power going into WrestleMania this year. Interesting. And The Undertaker is another big mystery. What's going to happen with him? We heard rumors he's not going to wrestle, and I was saying he might wrestle. Lot of different things they can do. You know what I would like to see? Even though it might seem weird, Undertaker and Daniel Bryan. That'd be a pretty fun little match, right? Very unique style and size, but Daniel Bryan can work with anybody. So, and so can Undertaker. He's a legend. He's not as good as he was before, but he's a legend. So I can't say enough good things. It was this Raw ended very shockingly, and I was happy with it. I really was. And the last time it ended this shocking was Dean Ambrose's turn, which wound up being a big flop. We'll see where things go from here. But let me know what you think, and thanks for watching.